Hello guys. Yes, I'm gonna have well, I guess kind of a reaction, but also like I want to add in my 2 cents in my some opinions to add, including with what Chibi Reviews is talking about here. So let's go ahead and check out what he says here.
Anime to be put under state authority to make sure they're wholesome and people are angry. Wow, I would have never have guessed people would get angry about games, anime, and manga getting censored by a political party. And now I'm gonna hit you with some more sarcasm. Some of our old friends from credit card companies like Visa and MasterCard decided to censor more content. They have graduated from just censoring, let's say, stuff strictly in Japan when it comes to anime and manga and stuff, to
Well, okay. So before we move on to the payment processors, let's go ahead and talk about this here about the political party. Um, yeah. I mean, well, first of all, putting it under state authority is kind of, I mean, that's not really good because it's bad for just I mean, well, yeah, like the anime industry is essentially for the most part a free market. Mostly, at least from my knowledge, I don't know if they like subsidize or anything. I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah, but like putting it under more state authority, like, yeah, it's gonna reduce creativity, you know. And also making sure that they're more wholesome. It's like, man, come on, bro. Um, well, okay. As For me, as a fan of anime for a long time, I've watched it for like what 15 years now, and I'm used to fan service. It's nothing special to me. I'm sure that the majority of fans don't have a problem with fan service. Like, I mean, there are so many series, especially mainstream series, such as, for example, One Piece, right? One Piece, Bleach. Well, Bleach is not current, but it's still a lot of people know Bleach, right? It has a lot of fan service, right? I mean, there's even shows such as Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer. Well, Chainsaw Man has more fan service. I mean, Demon Slayer doesn't have as much, but they do throw in some, at some point, right? They do throw in some fan service at some point, and there's a lot of rom-coms too, like Dress Up Darling. I love my Dress Up Darling. That has a decent amount of fan service. All right, my Dress Up Darling wouldn't be my Dress Up Darling. It wouldn't be as popular as it is without the fan service. I'm sure it wouldn't. Absolutely, no question. All right. And essentially, what this Japanese political party wants is like they say they want to make it more wholesome, but really, what this is gonna do is, well, it will reduce fan service and so on. But what will happen is it will shrink the anime industry because let's be real. Fan service is a big part of anime. It drives a lot of merchandise. Like anime figures sell left and right because of fan service. Okay, there's a ton of trading cards that are bought all the time. Like, I'm a collector. I collect anime trading cards. The most expensive anime trading cards in the second market are the ones with fan service. Yeah, those are, okay, especially if they're rare, right? If they're like higher rarity fan service cards, the price goes up higher. All right, anime figures are not cheap. And the most expensive ones are the ones with fan service, or the ones with the waifu wearing a bikini or something, or high level, like someone in like the highest level. How do I say? Not highest level, but like the high end figures are just like a hot waifu with, big boobs, and they're wearing some sort of revealing dress or bikini. Yeah, right. Yeah. Basically, my point is it will shrink the industry if there's less fan service, and also if the anime industry shrinks at the same time, that would essentially lead to Japan having less cultural influence, essentially, right? I'd say that anime, besides like games like Nintendo, right, and visual novels and stuff like that, besides that, anime is one of the most important things that has given Japan so much cultural power, so much cultural power influence. Absolutely. Absolutely, no question it has given it so much cultural influence over the last, well, especially like what 2 decades. Absolutely has given it so much more cultural influence, and essentially the consequences of what this political party is asking for is not only less like I mean, well, yeah, not only less money for the industry, but also less cultural influence. This is essentially what will happen for Japan. All right. So let's
Now
go ahead and
straight up
continue.
going after Steam and forcing Steam to change rules and kind of bend the knee to these card companies. And let's just read this. Steam has added a new rule disallowing games that violate the rules and standards set forth by payment processors and card networks or internet network providers. At the same time, many incest-themed games were removed from the store. You know what?
Okay, before it moves on, um, yeah, this is frankly bullshit. Honestly, it's BS. Um, yeah, like I don't like. Honestly, of all things that they could um like try to, I guess, like renege censor on. I don't know how to say it. Like to censor essentially, right? Um, well, yeah, like not give services for, right? Like it's these games, like I mean, I don't understand. I mean, there's so many other things that they could like remove. There's so many like actual real reasons they could remove um allowance for payment, right? But for this, it's like this is literally a drop in the bucket compared to like actual real problems in the world, okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, uh, it just makes no sense to me. Like, come on, man. No, but yeah, yeah. But another thing too is essentially, okay? Yeah, from here, it's gonna get worse. Okay, I'm absolutely sure I'm absolutely sure that these card companies will go after, in terms of Steam, right, and those other, um, I mean, well, then again, they are already doing this on other websites. I mean, well, Chibi Reviews also explains this on another video. Yeah, but essentially what's going to happen is, I mean, yeah, beloved anime franchises will be culled from Steam and other websites. I'm sure of it. Like, I'm talking like, significant anime franchises or beloved visual novel franchises. That's what's going to happen. I mean, well, if we don't make our voice heard, if, Japan doesn't make their voice heard and, they don't complain about it, yeah, I mean, well, there is an update by Chibi Reviews, was I will show, um, yeah, but anyways, no, yeah, it would if nothing. Well, how do I say? If there's no backlash against this, it will get worse. And the point is like, I don't want to see beloved franchises such as Cinema Kagura be gone. I don't want to see beloved franchises such as Neptunia, Autoline. I don't want to see those gone. Next thing you know, they're gonna go after like Korean games and gotchas and stuff like that. No, I don't want that to happen. I play a lot of gotchas. I don't want them to be gone. Fuck that. I mean, well, you also have other. I mean, well, then again, you even have places such as like marketplaces such as Google Play restricting content or like forcing. I mean, well, it kind of makes sense for them to how do I say, to put up the age range, right? But at the same time, that there are games that are kind of forced to censor themselves when they're put on Google Play. I mean, I guess that's a theme for another. I guess I could get into that for another video. Yeah, but let's go ahead and keep going.
Infuriates me more than seeing Steam bend the knee and bow down to credit card companies like Visa and MasterCard, or seeing a Japanese political party literally in Japan trying to censor gaming, anime, and manga and make it more wholesome for a global audience, is the fact that these same people around the world in positions of power with a large voice online, they are very outspoken about censoring fictional content that is not real. They legitimately believe that this fictional content is hurting people and that it should not exist. But in the same turn, these people that are so outspoken and trying to censor so much content that could be questionable or taboo are the same people that let stuff like, for instance, OnlyFans exist and actually harm real people. The same individuals that will deflect and try to make you focus on illegal video game emulation while also trying to cover up one of the biggest scandals, at least for now, in United States history when it comes to the Epstein list. It is just
Yeah, exactly. I guess we can stop it. I mean, yeah, I agree. As I said before, all of this stuff is literally a drop in the bucket, man. Okay? Compared to the actual real problems that, as he explained, what's happening with Epstein list. The, like, everybody wants answers for the Epstein list. Everybody. Everybody. Okay? So, like, the fact that they're not focusing on that, of all things, is kind of like, are you really, are you serious right now? Like, it's just extremely frustrating to have to see that this is what's happening in current day. It's really disheartening and frustrating, honestly. It's ridiculous, frankly. Okay. Yes, but okay, let's go ahead and move on here. Yes, but there is some good news. It seems like, as you can see here in the title, Japan strikes back against visa censorship. The Steam removes, well, as we've seen, Steam removes hundreds
anti-censorship
of
and
games.
has been very out. You know
Let's
how
go ahead.
Visa has been censoring anime, manga,
Let's go
and
ahead.
games
Let
for
the
the
video
last few
play.
years, all in the name of brand protection? Well, this individual here on the left is known as Yamada Taro. And you're probably wondering to yourself, how is he related whatsoever to the whole Visa drama and what's been going on with censorship? Well, this individual right here has been an active advocate for freedom of expression, anti-censorship, and has been very outspoken against credit card companies like Visa and MasterCard, and how these credit card companies and payment processors have been forcing Japan to censor itself, forcing businesses to close down shop if they don't censor themselves. He's been very outspoken, and he has been on manga author sides, he's been on animator sides, he's basically pro freedom of expression, so to speak. And why this is very important and why I'm bringing this up is because earlier this morning,
Well, okay. Well, this is a good sign. Of course, I mean, well, this is good. Okay, at least you have people like this who do recognize that, you know, the anime and manga industries are very important, and it's very important to have, as Chibi Reviews mentioned, freedom of expression, freedom of creativity, because that is the primary thing that has allowed the anime industry to flourish, because they're not restricted in terms of creativity. I mean, well, okay, for example, there's a lot of people on Twitter who complain about, um you know they complain about dark themes in anime or visual novels. They complain about fan service. They complain about maybe sometimes unsettling scenes that happen in such games or mangas or animes, right? But I mean, yeah, but I mean, does that mean that those series are bad? No. Does it mean that those series support such acts or things? Like, no, it doesn't. All right. Instead, I think when those things happen in anime, like, for example, the R word, or, like, essay or stuff like that, right? I think the reason why they put that in is because, they want to make it so that the antagonist who does it is genuinely evil, right? And the important thing is, it does genuinely recognize. I mean, well, yeah. Basically, what I'm saying is these authors do recognize that, hey, for every good person, yeah, there's for every all these good people, there are genuinely evil people. There are genuinely evil things that happen, and you can tell stories with these things, right? Maybe it's kind of unsettling, but you know I mean, there are some people who get into these stories because it's a good story. Yes, maybe shocking, or like for example, Elfen Lied. All right, it's a pretty shocking story. There's a lot of crazy and dark things that happen in that anime. I like the anime. Is it for the faint of heart? No. All right. In the beginning of the lead, you have the main girl character. She's not wearing anything, and she destroys the whole yeah, she destroys a squad of soldiers by herself, and it doesn't look pretty. Does that mean that the show is bad? No, it's a great show. It's just more mature, and that's the thing. Like Japan understands that you don't need to restrict these things because it allows for creativity, and it's good for the industry is better off for it because they're more it would allow offerings for people who look for whatever they want, you know. It allows people to have, if you like fan service, yeah, there's more fan service. If you like rom-com, there's more rom-coms, right? Some have fan service, some don't. If you like girls love or boys love, those there's media for each of those. All right, if you like maybe more violent animes, or you like more, you know, like historical or more war, or you like more mature themes, there are animes that have those too. Or if you like, just basically, you know, yeah, generally, yeah, basically, it's bad for Japan to have restrictions on all these things. So let's move on.
Yamada Taro was elected in Japan. He is an official representative, a part of Japan's actual government now. He has officially won, and it's a big day for basically those that love freedom of expression. And he has actively been in contact with other offers. For one, he has been in contact with Ken, aka the author of Love Hina. For those that don't know, Love Hina is
Yes, yes, of course. I've heard of that this guy is also a I think he's a represent. I mean, he either way he's involved in politics. I think he's a representative. Is he part of the parliament? I think. I don't remember. Well,
a
let's
very
see
iconic
what he
series
says.
that has
That's
legitimately
cool.
gone on
I
to
really like Loki now. It's a great series. I watched the anime. It was a long time ago.
be an actual influence on pretty much the entire rom-com genre of manga and anime. It is a very influential series. But getting back into the main topic, Yamada Taro winning and actually getting elected is a massive victory, especially in the whole storyline that we've been dealing with for the last few years when it comes to Visa and MasterCard forcing Japan to bow down and censor themselves. Now that he's officially been elected, he's officially gotten a little bit more power, there could be theoretically changes that can be made with time. Now that I've set the stage for why Yamada Taro is so important and why it's a huge victory for Japan for him to be elected, and because he's trying to be a big advocate for freedom of expression and anti-censorship, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is payment processors. What's been going on for the last few years, and what has happened just in the last few days.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. It's a good point. What can Japan do? Because obviously these payment processors have a lot of they have a lot of influence. I mean, Visa and Mastercard are everywhere, everywhere. Every pretty much almost everywhere. Pretty much almost every online place accepts them. They're in every store, everywhere. So like, what can like? Okay, so like all of a sudden they tell you, hey, you can't sell this, otherwise we're gonna take away our services for you. Like, wait, what? I don't. It's just honestly kind of like unfathomable because pretty much everybody uses a Visa or Mastercard, um, debit card or credit card, right? So it's like these payment processors really do have so much power. So like, what can you do? That's the question. So I guess.
Some of you might already be aware of this. For instance, if you actively have been following the conversation on social media, you're probably aware of this. But if you're someone that strictly just watches YouTube and you get most of your information, like when it comes to Visa and MasterCard through me, then this is going to come as a surprise. So basically, as we all know, Visa MasterCard has been forcing Japan for years now to basically censor manga content, anime content from different sites. Most of the time, it's adult content, aka fictional content, manga, and stuff like doujins and all that. They are completely censored. However, there has been manga that isn't necessarily strictly just 18 plus content that has also been targeted by Visa and MasterCard on these different Japanese sites and stores, which has caused these
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing, and and this is what I fear the most. Okay, I don't want to see like okay, I love fan service anime. Like I love High School DxD. To Love Ru is one of my favorite series. I have a good amount of the chapters here. I think chapters 12 to 18 of To Love Ru Darkness. I mean I have a ton of stuff like cards etc. pertaining to like waifus and fan service, right? Yeah. And honestly, I don't want to see merch or like, DVDs or stuff of my favorite fan service animes to go away because well, yeah, one day I'll be interested in buying them, then all of a sudden, well, it's gone. I don't want that to happen. I'm sure there's a lot of people who would love to have this kind of merch too. So I don't want this to go away, man. I love all this stuff, right?
entire sites and stores to shut down or completely remove that content to not support them, which does affect the industry. It affects anime and manga. And the reason why this is so important is because these payment processors like Visa and MasterCard are a dual monopoly. They are a straight up monopoly. They have so much political backing. They have so much money. They pretty much control the entirety of the world when it comes to cash flow. They do, because it is the most common form of usage when it comes to payments. People will use a MasterCard, they will use a Visa card. It's a very standard way people use to buy goods throughout the entirety of the world. Now, there's few exceptions. There's different companies depending on the country, like JCB, for instance, in Japan, but even they have been
Ooh, actually, mentioning JCB, there is oh shit, I forgot the name of the advocacy group. Um, I mean, well, um, there is a advocacy group that was actually one of the main causes of from what I've heard, I don't know if this is true. There is one certain group. I can't remember their name. I can't. I literally just heard about it yesterday. Apparently there's an advocacy group that at least contributed to this. Um, yeah, and they got Visa and Mastercard to, I guess, essentially push Steam to get rid of the incest games. Yeah, I forgot what the name was. Um, yeah, but yeah, there is a group that at least has contributed to this, and it just sucks. Um,
affected to some degree thanks to certain individuals, which I'll talk. But
wait,
even
hold on. There was something I
they
was
have been
going with this.
affected to some degree thanks to certain individuals, which I'll talk about in a moment. In Japan,
Hold
but even they have been affected to some degree thanks to certain world. They will
There's something
use
I was
a
thinking
Visa
about.
card. It's a very standard way
Oh
people
yeah, yeah, I remember. Yeah, okay. So essentially this group wanted them to also, I mean, well, yeah, they wanted to stop payments for not just Visa and Mastercard, but they also wanted to stop payments for JCB as well. So, okay. So this group is absolutely targeting the anime and manga and VN etc. industries for sure. They're absolutely targeting them, no question, which is bullshit. I don't I don't remember the name of the group right off the top of my head, but I'm sure some of you guys probably know it, so you can like comment.
use to buy goods throughout the entirety of the world. Now, there's few exceptions. There's different companies depending on the country, like JCB, for instance, in Japan, but even they have been affected to some degree thanks to certain individuals, which I'll talk about in a moment. But to get right into it, basically, these payment
Maybe does he
processors
get
have
into it?
been
Hold on,
actively censoring fictional content
we'll
that
see.
is not real. But to add on to this and remind everybody, this is the same type of companies, for instance, like Visa, MasterCard, that actively allow OnlyFans to be a hotbed for actual PDF content. And they were called out for it. I've covered that already in previous videos. If you're interested, you could probably go through my channel playlist on Chibi topics and you could find it for yourself. But basically, they have actively
Yeah, of course. Why am I not surprised, man? Why am I not surprised? It's just typical hypocrisy. Of course. It happens all the time. All right. You know, all of these people and companies in power just focus on minuscule things to get small wins, and it's like they're completely ignoring the big problems that are actually significant problems and that need to be dealt with, but they aren't doing those. They're instead they're focusing on content that people watch or consume that honestly doesn't really harm anyone. It doesn't really harm anyone. They basically just don't want people to have fun. All right. But at the same time they're actually allowing like literal evil things happening on the background. It's ridiculous, man. Complete hypocrisy. I agree.
just ignored actual real life issues on OnlyFans, but then they straight up will go out of their way to just try to censor Japan and get their entire culture to bow down to them. That's what they've been doing. So, with all of that being presented, we got to talk about what happened a few days ago. There is a group called Collective Shout.
Okay, here we go. This is what I was talking about. Collective shout. Yes, here we go. Now he's going over exactly who they are. So go ahead and we'll take a look at this here.
That made themselves very well known a few days ago. And now the internet is starting to get word of what's been happening with these payment processors, aka Visa and MasterCard. There was even a Reddit post earlier today. For some reason it is now removed, but it also brought up the old article I discussed over a year ago where Visa's CEO of Japan said they were going to censor as much content as possible, all in the name of brand protection. And this article started making a lot of waves earlier today on the
Yes, I do remember seeing this article a while ago, but well, I mean, well, that's the thing though, okay? When you see something like this, you're like, well, you know, you know, maybe they won't go through with it, right? You don't take it seriously. But unfortunately, they actually went through with it. So it's like, I mean, yeah, now more than ever is the time to speak up about this and to actually, spread the word. And hey, if you care about your hobby, you want to speak out against this, right? Anyways.
a subreddit of gaming or gaming subreddits, and a lot of people were talking about it. They were really shocked to actually see what was going on here. And I don't know why it was removed, very questionable, because I do think it's very important to discuss. But this gets into the topic. Collective Shout apparently contacted pretty much almost every single payment processor that they could, Visa, MasterCard, JCB, PayPal, everyone, to say, hey, this content is on Steam. Why are you allowing the purchase of this content on Steam? Now, if you take a look at this picture, obviously there's going to be a lot of people that are going to watch this video and they're not going to care for this content. They're going to say that's gross, that's creepy, that's weird, whatever. Have whatever opinion you want, okay? I'm not here to judge someone. What I'm going to say, however, if you actively allow someone to censor content, you open the door up for more censorship. For instance, it never stops.
Yeah, exactly. This is the point I gave earlier. It's totally gonna get worse later on. Absolutely, no question, it will get worse. Steam has, I mean, a lot of people, as he said, a lot of people, yeah, it's just gonna get worse. Once again, there's gonna be beloved franchises that will get cold if this keeps going on.
Content you dislike, it continues to happen. Censorship is a slippery slope, and once you go past a certain threshold, there's no coming back. And so, for instance, the reason why this is so important is because Collective Shout for the last 4 days now, I say 3 to 4 days, they have been jumping for joy in glee that they managed to get hundreds of Steam games taken off of the Steam store that all had taboo topics associated with them. At this current time, from my understanding, the coffin of Andy and Lele is not been removed yet, but it's only a matter of time until
I do find it interesting how the coffin Andy and Layla hasn't been hit. I think that's because it's primarily because it's had a lot of sales. It's had a lot of sales and it's probably made a lot of revenue, so they're probably really hesitant on that one. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, yeah. I think that makes sense so far, but I mean, hopefully it doesn't get taken down, but we'll see.
this group, Collective Shout, actually manages to accomplish that. So we need to ask ourselves, who is Collective Shout and why do they have so much power? And well, as for the power segment, I have no idea why a feminist group from Australia has so much political pull to get hundreds of games on Steam, not just removed from Australia, but worldwide. And it's a pretty big deal. That is an actual huge deal that this one group managed to accomplish something like that. And for a long time, for years, Steam is always seen as a bastion for freedom of expression, allowing you to post basically anything you want. But now with something like this brings into question.
Well, not really. Steam is very finicky with many like especially visual novels. They're very picky in terms of visual novels. It's so strange. Some visual novels that are kind of like, how do I say it? Some visual novels that do have fan service are allowed, but other ones aren't allowed. And like some of them, I don't know. It's really strange. Like okay, like I mean, yeah, like Blue Archive is on Steam, which is good, right? I like Blue Archive, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, but you also have but there are plenty of like hentai games on Steam. This is plenty of them, like Honey Pop, right? And plenty of like general like hentai or eroge games on Steam. So it's weird. But I mean, yeah, but there are a lot of visual novels that are relatively known in the visual novel space that people want on Steam and probably shouldn't have any problems, but for some reason they're just not on there. It's very strange. They're very finicky about visual novels in particular. But anyways, let's keep going.
Everything with Steam. And for those that are unaware, just a few days ago, Steam was forced to update their policies or enforce their policies a little bit more to be able to get rid of certain games on their platform that Collective Shop managed to get rid of. And they were bowing down to the payment processors like Visa and MasterCard and PayPal, which is very concerning that Steam was forced to do something like that once again by these payment processors, our old friends. Sarcasm, obviously, coming back once again to force a massive Goliath like Steam to censor itself. Strange. And once again, the people behind this that caused this to happen was Collective Shout. So, there is speculation forming, and these are allegations right now, or speculation, that Collective Shout could also be a big part or responsible for some of the stuff that's been actively going on in Japan. Or at least when it comes to censorship of anime and manga. Now, once again, there is no concrete evidence to back this yet, but people are digging, people are searching through this and trying to figure out anything they can, because the internet now, they know. They know who Collective Shout is. For instance, they know they're here. They were jumping for joy the fact that hundreds of games got removed, and it's only a matter of time until something is officially discovered. I am very curious why not a lot of content creators are talking about this. This is an incredibly important topic. Like, the
Yeah, it is kind of I've seen a few smaller ones. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think many people know about Collective Shout yet, but now they will, and hopefully they'll talk about it more. Yeah, I do find it surprising that they're from Australia. I didn't know that. I thought they were like from the U.S. or something, but I guess they're from Australia. All right. I guess they have just as many Karens at Australia, of course.
fact that Steam bowed down to credit card companies to censor gaming on their platform is a pretty big deal. That's not even talking about the stuff with anime and manga. Like, just strictly Steam alone is a massive talking point. Like, let's be honest, it's strange. Not many people. I think the only person I think I've seen talk about this at this point is Mutahar, and I haven't watched his full video on that yet, but I know he discussed this, and I know Asmongold made a reply to the dual monopoly of these payment processors. Forgive me, need some water. But I know he made a reply. I don't know if he's made a dedicated video on that yet. So I'm just curious, like, why not more people are talking about this, because it's a huge story. It is. And I feel like it's scary because we are entering into an area where a lot of content.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Hopefully, I mean, I'm absolutely sure this will gain more traction. Yeah, but the question is, okay, for me, here's the big question. Okay, are we gonna have big time creators such as Charlie, most critical? Is he gonna talk about this? Ludwig, is he gonna talk about this? Trash Taste, are they gonna talk about this? All right. If for whatever reason they do not talk about this, that's gonna tell me a lot about the kind of people they cater to. All right, that's gonna tell you a lot about whether they genuinely care about nerd hobbies in general. Okay, just keep this in mind, guys. Okay, are these big time influencers gonna talk about them? Gonna talk about this? All right, that's a big question. All right, I want to look into.
not just like anime and manga, but even Steam is about to get really censored heavily. So we'll see where this goes, but I'm just going to bring it up once again. Just because you don't like certain content and you will never play it, watch it, or whatever, doesn't mean that it should be removed from like the Steam store. Because once you allow that to happen, it's a slippery slope. More stuff's going to start getting censored. That's what I'll leave it at that. But thank you so much.
No, I mean, no, yeah, I totally agree. Because it's only gonna get if like if there's no pushback. I mean, well, I'm sure there's gonna be push. I mean, I'm absolutely sure there's gonna be pushback. But if the pushback is not big enough, right, it's only gonna get worse. And as I mentioned before, as also Chibi Reviews mentioned, it's gonna get worse. There's once again, I'm absolutely sure there's gonna be beloved franchises that will get cold if it gets worse. And this could, yeah, and also this could also spread to other hobbies too, outside of games, outside of anime. All right, so okay, yeah. So like the problem is this in general with like the visa censorship. It sets a precedent, right? It sets a precedent. All right. This is essentially a big threat to just nerd, just any kind of nerdy hobby in general. Maybe not any kind, but like just like anime and manga and games and related hobbies, right? It's a big. I'd say this is a significant threat to those kinds of hobbies, and it's just I don't. I can only hope that it doesn't get worse, or and that people generate enough pushback to make their voice heard and to make it so that this doesn't continue, right? So here's hoping, guys. Okay, yeah, I hope you guys liked my reaction, and if you have any points, please feel free in the comments. I'm not. This is kind of like my first time doing this, so I'm not like the most eloquent person. So but I hope you guys like watching. And I mean, and also, if you guys want to talk about it more in the comments, please feel free. Yeah, I mean, yeah, man, because I do kind of want to spread the word and also want to give my 2 cents too. So there we go. All right, guys. See ya. Take care. Peace. Thank you for watching.